Burr. Thank you for joining me.
How's it going?
That's going all right. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Good.
It feels weird to say that. I am.
That's great. So what is the funniest thing that happened to you this week, or you noticed this week, or you thought about this week?
Probably sitting outside drinking a cup of coffee, and this guy was shooting heroin into the outside of his calf, and then this other guy came out and he was like screaming into his cell phone. And like right before all this happened, I was just enjoying like, this is a great morning. I'm coming to the end of this wonderful run on this play. I'm going to be back with my lovely wife and my kids, and I can't wait for that. And I was feeling so serene. And this guy was screaming on his cell phone. And I usually don't say anything, but I just went like, buddy. And he just goes, oh, okay, sorry. He just took 2 steps over and started screaming again. And I just appreciated that he actually acknowledged that he was being loud, but I also understood that whatever he was yelling about was super important. He was yelling in a different language, so I could tell that it was...
it really mattered to him. There
was something of that was time sensitive was happening, but he was still courteous enough to know. It was when he switched out of his language. I think it was Korean. It was going, he's going to go like that. I said, buddy. And he goes, perfect English. Oh, I'm sorry. And then he just stepped 2 feet over and he goes, but I am fascinated with people that can do that. Mm. Like I'm trying to learn French, and I'm getting to the point where I can really understand when people speak it. I can read it really well compared to where I was. And my speaking is off because I have a tutor in LA, but like I just, you need to be doing it, and I haven't been. So I'm just amazed at when I first came here, I was living on 97th and Lex, which was, going into Spanish Harlem. So people's ability, Puerto Ricans, like their ability to just fucking just boom, boom. It's so amazing. And then it's like, it's weird, like when I hear my people, whitey, be like, fucking speak English or whatever. It's just like, dude, this person, it's like They can speak more than one language, and you're still buying into this, I'm smarter and I'm superior because my skin burns in the sun.
Yeah. So I'll make this brief because I know you don't love receiving compliments, but I want to start this off with a compliment, which is I'm really excited to talk to you right now because I loved your most recent special. And as a person who's been following your career for over 20 years, it feels like this culmination of a lot of things you've been working on, a lot of topics you've been talking about, a lot of issues you've been trying to get through. There are jokes where it feels like it's things you've talked about, but the perspective has completely switched. Yeah. And it's really satisfying as a person who's followed this whole journey. Was that something intentional? Were you realizing that like, oh, this can be almost like a mirror image of a lot of things that I was doing?
No, it wasn't. It's just how I've been working on myself. And the result of that is why. So it's something I've been telling comedians, whether there's this thing where like, don't go getting happy. You get happy, you're not going to be funny anymore. And it's like, no, it's better because it opens up this whole new worldview. So you're not just like doing the same thing the entire time. You have to keep like, I feel, incrementally changing each year. So there's some sort of forward momentum to what you're doing. And then what happens is people notice the change. Like you have a positive reaction to it. I have people that I left behind who are still angry and, misogynistic and blah, blah. I'm not saying I still don't have a lot of issues with women. I do, but even then it's not them. It has to do with other stuff. I just keep going back and figuring out what it is. So anyway, like I get like, I definitely have like this fall off of the stay angry bro guys that I had, and it's like they're not fans. And like, I just think like, well, hey man, I hope you're not angry your whole life. Because I was on my way to doing that and I don't want to be that guy. So, the old me, if somebody would have said that, I would have been like, well, fuck you. I'm doing what I want. But I can still, even as the person saying you're not as funny as you used to be, I can still have empathy going like, I know what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's like, don't Don't go to the light because I'm not ready yet. Stay here in the bar with me thinking all of this like negative stuff. And it's like, I don't, I don't want to be the Pied Piper of that. I did it. And, yeah, I don't want to be, my tombstone. Here lies Bill Burr. He was angry. Like my one fucking life that I had, I did that. So, and I'm also realizing that everybody, it's kind of what it is. You have your shit you have to work out. That's your life sentence, whatever thing that you're doing.
There's a few jokes where you can see that, but one that I thought was really interesting is the first joke in the special, which is about being more agreeable with your wife. And I noticed you talked about how it's a breakthrough, and I was listening to you on Conan's podcast in 2018, and you go, this week I had a breakthrough, which is I realized I'm just going to say yes to whatever my wife said. So that was 7 years or so before the special.
And that was coming from a place of anger.
Yeah.
And that was passive aggressive, being like, so evidently what I have to say means fucking nothing. So because I didn't know how to like talk like that stuff out. I will say, the joke that's really resonating with men and hopefully with women is talking about how many sad men there are out there. Like, and like the amount of men that relate to that, the amount of men that are married and are lonely and they're sad and don't feel appreciated. And like the whole like vibe of all of that is, the thing is like, it's usually based on the woman's happy wife, happy life kind of thing. So you just sort of like, it's a mixer, and you just sort of down here, and their stuff is up like that, and like I just feel like as an adult, if you're asking me to be responsible for what I'm doing that's making your day less enjoyable, you can't just be free to do whatever you want. Like I talk to a lot of married guys, and I go, what's funny about most married men is you exist on about 3 or 4 compliments a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's not like a given, I don't know what that is, but like there's this funny thing on Instagram I saw where this woman was going around randomly complimenting men, and the fucking first like look of shock on their face, because women don't approach guys like that, but there's also this funny thing of like, wait, I remember what this oh, that's a compliment. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like there's gonna be like wherever I am mentally, where I'm like open to kind of seeing like, all right, what I'm bringing to the party and how I'm messing up. I don't think that's a big ask to ask the other person, and that's kind of where I am with my wife right now, which is this really cool yet difficult place, because you have to like revisit the stuff that you were doing, because it's weird. There's this stuff that you knew you were doing, and then there's this stuff that you didn't even know you were doing, and then it's like really embarrassing. You're like, oh my God, I was doing that, and that made you feel that way. And like, I am like absolutely crazy about my wife, and I'm 21 years in, and I'm I can't ever imagine her not being in my life. And like, she's like beyond my wife. She's like my buddy. Like there's no one out there that I vibe with like her. So that's been what's been really been hard about this play, is it's really been difficult on our vibe because she's holding down the fort. I'm out here lonely. She needs the support because she's doing everything out there. I'm lonely and I'm looking for something. So, it causes like, but what about what I'm going through? And then we got to be like, all right, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So we kind of came up with this running joke of like, when we started discussing things, if it gets heated, we just go like, we're not fighting. Are we fighting? And it's so silly, which I think is one of the magic components of my relationship with my wife, is that we are both ridiculously silly people. And that helps us reset a lot, but it also helps us to avoid a lot of big issues by like, and now here's the joke. Hey, okay, let's keep it up. Let's keep it up here.
But it's interesting because it's like, it makes one, as a person, I rewatch all your specials, and a lot of the early specials were when you're still first just dating before you got married. And it was a lot about these fights that you would have, or your perspective on it, or, there's jokes about, you describe you don't want to get married because you don't want like this sort of psycho robot who's just like has plans for the day, or the jokes about
and that was all about women, but it had nothing to do with
that's
them.
why I was wondering. It's
It was what it was. I always wanted to be married. I always thought I was going to be married at 26 and have like fucking 5 or 6 kids. Like if I wasn't fucked up, that's what would have happened. But instead, I was fucked up, so I became a comedian. And then what I did was I then met a bunch of other comedians, and we were all like, messed up kids with all of this trauma, but it was relatable. So you got sucked into this world that made sense.
Yeah.
But it was like when I go back and I just think of the things that we talked about, we were kids. Like as much as you're an adult in your 20s, we were kids. In our worldview and our views of relationships and women and all of that stuff, and it was also like this different time where it was just like there was really a there was this pressure to be that guy that didn't care, and like a woman couldn't hurt you and all of that stupid bravado stuff. And it was like the nuts running the nut house. So none of us could help each other. In fact, in a lot of ways, I think we made each other worse before we all got out of it. But what I am proud to say is those of us who got out of it, one of the biggest success stories is this comedian, Robert Kelly, who I really think in a lot of ways sets the bar for being a father, like how involved he is in his son's life versus the way he was brought up. And he's one of those guys, you talk about me changing. Like Robert Kelly has probably been like 6 or 7 different people since I've met him, and each one was a better version of himself. And, we lived together when we were both at our probably most toxic, and we almost killed each other a couple of times, but none of that happened. And we laugh about it now, but like, I look up to him a lot as like, when I think about being a father, he's an amazing, amazing, amazing father.
Do you regret any of those jokes? I think about,
No.
Yeah. How do you
I don't, because I have because it was honest. It was where I was. I've never gone on stage and wasn't joking around something, unless I'm just being like, there's also being absurd or whatever. You're just saying something ridiculous over the top. But like, I don't regret those because that's where I was. And if I didn't do that, then what you're seeing me do now wouldn't have like this nice arc to it. And it's like, I feel like somebody who came up like I did can watch the whole thing and see a way out, hopefully, because, the things that happen to you when you're a kid can really, adversely affect the one life you have to live. And then the worst part is, you think, well, I'm not as bad as what happened to me, but you don't understand, like, and your idea of where the middle is, I would say like that's going on with politics right now, where it got so fucking crazy left. What's going on now on the right feels like the middle. And it's like, no, it's just boiling water on the other side. We need to have the depressing thing about traveling is you just meet everybody and everybody's sort of chill and cool. And then you watch CNN and Fox News and it's like, it's like, this is not an accurate depiction. And it's like, are you doing this on purpose to destroy the country? Or is it because there's so many channels, cable is dying, that you need to just show people running around with their heads on fire to get somebody to stop and watch it and get clicks so you can get advertising so you can keep your fucking pool?
Sorry, that tangent took me on. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
I do that a lot. Don't blame yourself.
It's okay.
That's you were talking about when I went when I go back and I look at my stuff. Do I regret the things that I've said? Listen, you're always going to regret things that you said, but you can't like. You obviously, I know now. I mean, I regret betting the fucking, whatever. Yeah. Like if the Super Bowl this year, you would regret betting the Chiefs because the Eagles were going to fucking kill them. Right? So there is that, but it's just like you can't beat yourself up for being human.
Yeah, I think the question
that was the dumb thing when they would do those witch hunts. I went back 3 years in your fucking Twitter account and found out that you said something. Did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
Was I in a bad mood that day? And you went back through 3 years? That's a pretty good run.
Well, I think about, like, ultimately what you're saying is it's about empathy, and specifically you have empathy for, like you have the joke about, I think it's in an early special where you say something like, where are the wives you can just dump your day out on, right? Or you have the joke about, they say you can never...
See, that's still funny because it's so absurd.
I know it's so absurd, but like...
And I was also being absurd back then, and then I was learning to be a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. So I was also learning like the skill of pushing people past what they wanted to hear, getting them to still listen, and then landing it somewhere that wasn't, oh my God, this is going to just be the most ignorant thing ever, and landing it somewhere else. So I was learning how to do, like, specials aren't just specials. Some of them are transitional. So someone will be like, oh, I really liked, Paper Tiger and then Red Rocks, but blah, blah, blah. We kind of guerrilla shot that thing, to be honest with you. But like someone was like, it wasn't quite as good. That was more of a transitional thing. Like to get, because I was in the middle of undoing a lot of stuff about myself. So I was... or whatever. Someone like Red Rock's better than Paper. I'm not saying, whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody always has like their opinions, but there's specials that are you're catching somebody, sort of mid-stride, like they haven't planted that foot or where they're going to be. So like I'm excited about my new hour that I'm writing, because this one is, it's more of my self-examination, but like my worldview is like, it's apolitical and it's trying to bring people together. I'm trying to do the opposite of what's going on out there, because it's really disturbing to me that like states don't like states. Like this is feeling like we're going to have a civil war if we're not careful here. And like when I was growing up, everybody hated the Russians. Now people hate California or Florida or New York or Texas. And it's like, guys, same team. You're on the same team. People can have different opinions. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think what this country needs right now is a leader. And
are you the leader?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't mean that. I'm talking about politics.
Got it.
And this whole leading by dividing that has been going on for a few decades now is going to pull this country apart if they're not careful. You have to lead by like, you have to lead everyone. It's got to be a positive thing. You got to get back to, I don't know, but the level of corruption, with all of these politicians and how much money they're making from these people who've poisoned our food supply. I mean, and they hook up with the pharmaceutical people. Like your job is to go out here and eat poison, get sick, buy the drugs, stay alive long enough, make your claim, have it denied after you paid insurance, and then die, and then have all of that debt passed on to the people. Like this is, and I can tell you right now, the people who are doing that are not illegal aliens.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about talking about politics, because it's been an interesting few months for you in this arena. And I want to just summarize for people who have been watching your career so closely. In this last few months, you've had a few things happen, which is Ben Shapiro talked about going to one of your shows and complaining about you becoming woke, which sort of then created this...
He doesn't even know what that word means.
Let me summarize.
His definition of woke is white liberals' definition of woke, and they didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
They just took the word from black people. That's the worst thing about our people, is not only do we take from other cultures, we don't even take the time to understand the definition.
Yeah.
He went there to be annoyed so he can then have something to talk about, and then he can make money off of dividing his own country.
Yeah.
Those people, it's treasonous what they do.
Yes, but to be fair, or not to be fair, the fact is that it worked for what his goal is, which is then it became a thing online where then a certain portion of the right complained about how you're woke.
Racists.
And more racist.
They're racist. Yeah, they send pictures of monkeys to me and my wife. They're fucking horrible people, and they're cowards, and they never say it to your face.
Yeah.
They never do that. And no, they're like, look, dude, there's an ugliness that's out there right now where, there's certain podcasts out there that if you're a racist, if you're an anti-Semite, if you're a psycho nationalist and you want a softball interview, there's podcasts out there where you can, and they will laugh at your fucking bad jokes and just give you this pass. And it's like, you know, there's a really ugly thing that's going on out there. And, you know, it's the kind of things we've already seen this, and we've seen what it does to a nation. And it's not the way to go. It's not the way to go.
So, and then at the same time, you know, you're talking about billionaires, you're talking about stuff like this, and people on the left have been really embracing you, and they're sharing your videos.
No, that's not true, dude.
Certain parts of the left.
That's not true. That's not true.
Certain portions of the left.
That's not true. And certain portions of the right.
Sure.
There's common sense on both sides.
Sure.
But we keep doing this shit. Where it's like, oh, the right's all fucking racist, and dude, the left is some of the most fucking. Most of the left feels like if they have a black friend, they don't have issues. Okay, I'm out of that.
Yes,
I'm out of that, so I don't want to hear left and right crap. They're all fucking nuts. That fucking shit post Me Too, where it went from people shouldn't sexually assault people, absolutely, to I don't like what you're talking about in your act, was fucking nuts. It was McCarthyism on the left. And now you've gone to the other side on the right. And the left was so fucked up, the right, you know, the psycho right thinks that they're in the middle, and they're not. They're out of their fucking minds. And I travel, dude, and I'm telling you, people who lean right and lean left are chill. And we're just sitting in the middle like, when is everybody going to fucking calm the fuck down? When is this going to go back to, you know, like live and let live?
Sure.
So, and there's way more of that. And I have people from construction workers to fucking, you know, hairy leg chicks with nose rings going, hey, I like what you're saying out there about these billionaires. Because that is the fucking problem.
Yes.
And the other problem is that people make it like it's political. Like if you vote for this color tie, these billionaires are somehow going to grow a heart. And it's just not the case. It isn't.
Yeah, and ultimately, my question is ultimately, when you think of talking about politics at all in your act, what do you want to do, right?
If I do it, I trash them both.
Yeah. With what?
Because that is my job. That is my job. I can't fix the political system, and I don't watch a lot of it. But, you know, when I do stand up, you know, if I start trashing like Trump, I would hear the left in the crowd like, yeah. And I'd be like, the fuck, you voted for a guy that, you know, is staring off into space. Mm-hmm. Like your guy literally should be in a fucking home. What are you patting yourself on the back for? X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. Your fucking party has not let you has not let you choose your candidate since Obama's second term.
Yeah.
You're liberal? That's fucking insane. We want Bernie Sanders. Fuck you, Hillary. We want Bernie Sanders. Fuck you, fucking Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo again, fucking 2 weeks before. His vice president.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. So like, so then after I've trashed Trump, I then do that because my thing is like, I'm not flying either one of their flags. It's the people that pay them. Mm-hmm. That is the problem. And they're always distracting us with other stuff. So, like, CNN and Fox News are a fucking disease.
So is your goal to clear out? Your hope is if I make fun of it, I will clear out the distraction and focus on the...
No, what I was doing then was I was just trashing both sides.
just to do it.
Yeah. Not
fun.
To do it, but also to just show that it's fucked up. But now I've moved on from that.
Got it.
To, you know, the puppeteers.
Got it.
So that's what I'm going to make fun of. So my new perspective is there's nothing wrong with being a billionaire, but if somebody is working 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, and they can't make their rent, you're not paying them enough money. Maybe you should just be worth 900 million.
Yeah.
Like, how does a CEO take a fucking 8-figure bonus and none of your employees have dental insurance? They can't even go out and get a filling.
What do you do then when you're put in a position, like SNL asks you to host the week after the election, right? That's like, it's for a comedian, hypothetically, to talk about politics, to unite the nation. How did you feel when you were put in that position?
No, it's an honor to be asked to do that. You know, and I made fun of Kamala and I made fun of Trump. And then I did a couple of silly jokes. I kept it light. You know, you just... What you do what you do. I don't put that level of importance on. Excuse me. I don't put that level of importance on my act. What I'm finding is that people keep trying to categorize what it is that you're doing. Like that idiot Ben Shapiro. No, he's woke now. He's like, I don't. That fucking guy. Someone came to me and goes, "Hey man, you should." He was trying to bring me into his fold. At one point, the guy liked me.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I didn't, then all of a sudden I'm a fucking asshole. I mean, I'm supposed to look at that guy like he's an adult.
Do you feel misunderstood if people take you words one way or the other?
No, I'm not I'm deliberately misunderstood.
Got it.
So people are like, it's like a catcher trying to make a ball a strike. So they try to, and everyone does it. It's not just people with radio shows and podcasts. It's like fans do it. Like one of the funniest things ever is so many of my bits are online, which is great promotion to sell tickets, but the names of the jokes, they name them.
I was going to ask
and
you
I'm
about
like, that's not the name of the joke. That's not the perspective of the joke. I've seen people that teach comedy classes saying, you see what he's doing here and what he's doing, and it's it bothered me at first, and then I'm just like, what do I care? It's just like there's fucking songs that I listened to for 40 years and I thought they were about something, and then I hear the artist go like, no, it wasn't a. Like, do you know, I just saw something, I don't know if it's true, but that Buffalo Springfield song, what is that? Stop Children. Everybody thought it was about Vietnam. And then the guy, no, they shut down the whiskey that night. And there was cops down there. And it was just sort of about this little rock club in L.A. And it's just like, oh, I thought your song was about what I cared about.
Yeah.
It was about what you cared about.
Like
so
all the directors of every movie that use that to overscore shots of kids protesting.
Have you seen that guy on Instagram where he says every movie becomes better if it ends with Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run in the credits? Oh my God, it's amazing. It's like the end of the Shawshank Redemption. It's so funny. And, Tim Robbins is on the beach and Morgan Freeman's coming up and these two friends. And it's just this really like, wow, what a journey we just watched. And there's Max Weinberg. And it always works. And there's something about that song that makes me feel like I just watched one of those great coming of age movies in the 80s that I watched with all of those actors, from my generation. So,
you're talking about the billionaires and politician stuff. What do you feel, and podcasters, what do you feel about politicians and billionaires who've appeared on podcasts of your peers to try to leverage comedy for their own goals?
Oh, dude, it was before that. I remember the first time I saw a president go on the Tonight Show. I thought it was cheapening The Office. It's like they never did that. Like when they used to run for office, they would have the debates. And they wouldn't even go on Meet the Press. So, but I just feel like now that everybody has a camera and blah, 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 it's just so all over the place. I just think the landscape of it has changed. All I can say is personally, I would never do it. I would never have somebody come on that's running for fucking president with my intellect. I'm not going to sit there and be like, what's your foreign policy? Like I would be like within 3 minutes, dude, what was your favorite Super Bowl? And then people would be like watching it going, I like that Super Bowl too. I'm going to vote for this guy. It's just like, it's just so far beyond my wheelhouse. Like I am just that's just way, way, way beyond. Like there's a difference between the people that read and the people that are the subject of what you're reading. You know what I mean? There's people that like discover shit and figure shit out. And then there's the people that read it. Like the amount of people that can explain the theory of relativity. That's probably not a lot of people, but they can do it. But then there's this ego thing that because now I can explain it like I'm somehow Einstein adjacent. It's like, no, you're not. You just read some smart shit.
Yeah.
That was a bit I used to do in my act where it's just like, there's nothing worse than when a dumb person reads because now they think they're smart. It's just like, no, you're just a dumb guy that knows a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like intellect to me, is how you process information. It's not just reading a bunch of smart shit, putting in your head, and then puking it out at people and be like, in 1492, that's not smart. You're torturing people.
Yeah.
So it's more like how you put stuff together. And like, somebody said to me one time, I go, Bill, you're a really smart guy. And I go, yeah, in a sports bar. You put me in a sports bar and you want me to talk about 70s and 80s sports. I am scoring very high.
Yeah.
All right. You put me in like that forum to have to interview somebody that is going to run for president, and then as the sports bar guy, you're going to see like, yeah, this guy did go to summer school a lot. So, or whatever. It's like, you're a smart guy. Compared to what?
Yeah.
It's all like sort of relative. Like I'm still out. The jury's still out with me with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's like, is he a good scientist? Because every time I see him, he's talking to somebody like me, and I'm like, is that how the tides work? I had no idea. It's like, he didn't figure that out.
Yeah.
He learned it. I want to see him sitting down next to another scientist and have the guy be like, wow, Neil, I never looked at it that. Like, I want to see somebody on your level.
It's interesting. He does spend a lot of time talking about movies.
He doesn't do science a lot. He definitely sits around a lot talking about, it's sort of like a Dr. Phil kind of thing.
So
he's always looked like a crooked cop to me. He just looks like he would plant a pistol, do one of those and take like a taped up pistol.
I think you're probably more right than we've realized. So you talked a little about it earlier, and I want to talk about the growth that you had off stage that then transitioned on stage, and the certain things that happened in your life that led to it. And first was, as you were talking about with Robert, the having kids was a major change. And in your earlier specials, you talk about wanting kids and not knowing if you'd be able to have kids. You just said there's a ball of hate in my chest, and I don't know if I can have kids. You'd say stuff like that. I
said that?
Yeah.
That was true.
But you now have kids. So before you had kids, what did you expect? And then what did you learn now that you have them?
And you know what? It wasn't a ball of hate. It was hurt that turned into that. So what is it like now that I have kids?
Yeah. What did you expect, and what have you realized?
I realized that I'm a really good dad, and I'm good at it. I'm like, I am in a lot of ways like a big kid, and a lot of raising kids under the age of 10. It's a ground game. Like, so we have all of these games of chasing them around the house, wrestling, going swimming, playing drums. Music's a big thing with me. Like, I expose them to a lot of that stuff. And, but like, what I love is like my kids, like I was, driving in LA, which is really frustrating for me. And like, I'd gone into my neighborhood like 3 times that day. And every fucking time, it's this random little street. The person in front of me was also going on in that street. And after a while, the LA, you just don't want anybody in front of you. You just want, can I just go from this light to that light, have my arm out? Like, I'm so jealous of like people that live in rural areas, that you can buy a classic car or have a motorcycle and go down the street and not have to be fucking like that the whole time. You suffer with your worldview. That's the problem.
Sure.
But like the car motorcycle aspect of it. So anyways, it's like the 3rd time my daughter's in the car and I'm just going like, what are the odds? What are the friggin', and she's 8 and she goes, Dad, what does it matter? And I go, it does matter. She goes, no, you're being ridiculous. And I literally even like went past my street to go around the block to just not have any. And she said to me, I forget what she said. She goes, Dad, she goes, you're being ridiculous. I go, all right, I am being ridiculous, but I'm also right. And she goes, no, you're not. And we just both started laughing. And it made me feel really good because my dad's anger was terrifying.
Yeah. And
I would never do anything. But she just, she got me to quit smoking cigars. I don't know if I'm done for good, but like, I was smoking a cigar and she came out like little girls do. They just look through you. She came out, she sat, like I was sitting down, she sat right in my lap, got like an inch from my face, and she goes, Dad, stop smoking cigars. It's bad for you. And I was literally like, okay, all right. And I put them down. She goes, you have to go 100 days. And I was like, all right, this is when she was 7. So I went 100 days. And he goes, then you can have 5. And then you have to do another 100 days. So I didn't do 5. I went 5 weeks and I went off the rails and I was smoking like a chimney. And then she goes, that's it. So I stopped smoking cigars, but then I had a pipe. And she goes, no, that counts too. So I went 100 days from middle of January to the end of April. And I was just like, I don't know. It was the second time I went. And I was thinking about it. And I was like, do I want to start this back up again? Mm-hmm. I have to do this play. People are paying a small fortune to go see this play. And I'm going to be out there, with a smoky voice and stuff. And maybe I won't sleep as well. And I just was like, do I really want to go through having to quit this again? So I haven't quit for good, but I want to be that guy where it's an occasion, where I'm thinking like, well, maybe the last night of the play, I'll smoke one. But then I'm like, no, I don't need to do that. Because if everyone was doing it, I would do it. But if it's just you, it's very antisocial.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sitting there like a city bus. Hey, come on, everything. There's a lot of, a cigar is obnoxious, which I'm guilty of.
But yeah, I mean, it's what's interesting is, and studies have shown this, that like you have an idea of what a father-child relationship is from being a child, and then you have a child, and by creating a different relationship, it rewires your brain. You'd be like,
it's the best way. If you've done the work on yourself, it's the only way to fix what happened to you, is because you can't fix that, but what you can do is change it. So it causes you to move forward. It causes you to understand. It made me and my wife get along better, I hope, because I think it's easier with an adult to not understand that your behavior is affecting them negatively. But with a kid, the innocence, how small they are, and how they're just unfiltered. And they'll just like say, Dad, I don't like when you yell like that. And it goes right into your heart. And you're like, oh my God. And then, you fucking be a baby about it. You beat yourself up and, oh, I'm a fucking bum. And it's like, stop doing that. All right. Man the fuck up and go talk to somebody. Do what you got to do and get better at this, because you know what that feels like. And just the fact that my son or my daughter has the ability to tell me that they don't like that, that's not enough.
Yeah.
I have to stop this. So that's what I love. I snuck back after a show because I've never missed my wife's birthday. And my son's birthday was the same week. So I had to make sure I went back there, participated in making a cake. I frosted it. I fucked it up. But, that going back, one of my favorite things that happened when I came back, other than seeing my family, was that ride with my daughter and her. Like, I was upset and then she had me laughing, but I just loved, I was like going like, look at how cool our relationship is. Mm-hmm. And like, I knew she was right, but I was being an idiot going like, I was also kind of right too. And she's going like, no, you're not. Why would you get upset about that? Like, and then I just felt this feeling of euphoria of like, oh my God, she doesn't have what I have. Like, this isn't going to bug her. She's free of that. So I always view it like The Exorcist, like when the devil got in the priest and then he jumps out the window and kills himself, like it dies with me, which is also stupid because the devil could just go go into somebody else. He just sort of killed himself.
Is that why, for the most part, like, you had kids and you didn't do any material of like, oh, raising kids is so hard, this thing's annoying. Like, there's a expectation that some might have of like, oh, Bill Burr has kids, get ready for him to complain about all the things comedians have been complaining about having kids. Right. Is it a thing that you actively either don't see or like actively have avoided?
No, I love having kids, and I like when I hear some new music or I hear a song and I go like, oh man, I bet my daughter would like this song. I bet my son would like this song. And like my wife has like completely, we have like overlap, but she has completely different musical tastes. Mm-hmm. So like my kids know, I can't pick like a really deep artist that she like, what is some of that stuff she listened to in college? Like there's so much stuff that I discover and she goes, oh yeah, I was listening to that in college. I'm like decades behind. But she'll just play like really like, like she grew up on like you know, the hip hop R&B from the early 90s, like her teen years.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has all of that. She has all that cool college music. She has all of that stuff that, you know, by then, you know, I was in my 20s and I was like a comedian, you know, so I missed out on all of that. And so she has all of that. And then I have all like the 70s and 80s, you know, rock music right through like, you know, Queens of the Stone Age, and then like, you know, Russian circles and some of the other stuff that I listen. So they're hearing all of that. And like that, like that's the cool thing as like a parent. And then you just, you know, you don't guide them. You just sort of vibe with them and see what they like and what they, you know, or like, you know, I pitch to them and stuff, and I deliberately have them go on both sides of the plate, right and left-handed, you know, and they're like, I don't like going to left-handed. This feels, you know, I started them all both off left-handed. So it'd be their stronger side because they were right-handed, and just having that. And that's good, I think, for brain development and just little tricks like that. Okay, let's do, you know, we're throwing with that right hand. Let's do 10 with the left, and you turn it into like a game. But I don't know if this is like true or not, but I feel like you're giving them more access to using this thing. And, you know, and I just, I have a real sort of like honest thing with them where, you know, stuff happens at school. You know, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm like, hey, you know, if that happens again, you know, do X, Y, and Z. Well, I'll get in trouble. And I go, well, not with me, you won't. I'll actually be proud of you. You got to stick up for yourself, you know? So like things like that. And then also telling them like, listen, if you ever have I've made every mistake you could make. So if you ever have a problem, just come to me with it and we will figure it out. I'm not going to get mad. Okay. And if you have a problem and you don't come to me, it's actually going to make me sad that you didn't feel that you could. So I'm doing that early because, you know, there's a lot that young people have to deal with that I didn't have to deal with. There's a lot with this, everyone being connected in this really rude, mean, anonymous way that you can just bully people and, you know, all of these punks out there with the anonymous accounts sending out all this racist stuff while calling people snowflakes, and they're like hiding behind the anonymity of it. You know, it's really, I also, you know, I don't understand the internet. Like why, like I can't drop the F-bomb on SNL, but you can upload a beheading video that an 8-year-old, if he knows how to get to it, can go see it.
It's just so weird at this point.
It's control.
Yeah.
Because they want to see what you're looking at. They want to build a whole file on you so that you're giving them all this information. And I was just joking with somebody like that whole incognito mode. I pressed the button. No one knows. It says, how dumb are you? How dumb are you? Do you think that you're going to go on there? You just press incognito, or I opted out. No cookies. I opted out. Oh, did you? Where's the checks and balances on that? They made you feel good. You pushed a button. Oh, no, I turned all of that off on my phone. Okay.
The other breakthrough, which you talked about in your last special, Live at the Red Rocks, is you took mushrooms and you had a really transformative experience.
Yes.
Can you talk about both the, you know, for people who haven't seen that special, the overview of the story and sort of what information you took from it, how it changed how you approached so many different things in your life, from your stand-up to how you see
it? The first time, I took it, it started off the goofy, silly, oh, wow, man, this is wild, you know? And I just took it. I don't even know why I took it. I just got to the age, I was like, am I never going to know what it's like to be tripping?
Yeah.
And I was really conservative when I was growing up. And I stayed away from, in a good way, I stayed away from a lot of the pitfalls, but I also was, you know, I missed out on a lot of stuff too by being, you know, all walled off. So I just thought, okay, this isn't LSD. This is mushrooms. This is more like a natural thing. Let me try this. And I won't do a lot. You know, I'll do enough to sort of dip my toe into it, is what I thought was going to happen. And so at first, you know, the fucking TV screens kind of like coming towards me and stuff was goofy and I was feeling weird. And then all of a sudden, like this dark, it was, what I said in my special was this like profound sense of loneliness. Yeah. So I didn't know what it was. So I had to leave the room and I went into the bedroom and I was laying there in the dark and I was just like, what the fuck, doing that, And I didn't know how to ride out a bad, like I know how to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the last times I did it, I was outside and I was looking at the clouds and they turned into like these fucking things with like teeth and shit. And I just waved at them. Like, yeah, that's my demons. I know you're there. I got it. And then this other cloud came by with like a sword and just sort of went through them. And it just sort of, and it's like, I'm working on it. I got it. It was funny because my wife afterwards, she goes, I saw you waving at the clouds. What was that? I said, they kind of turned into these demons that will. Hey, yeah, I know. So anyway, I didn't know how to get out of it. So I started going like, oh my God, is this some stuff with me and my wife? I was checking in and I'm like, no, everything's cool there. I go, no, this isn't my kids. Like, what is this? And, it's this weird thing where you trip. If you kind of ask, you get the answer. It's fucking wild. It's like someone else is talking to you, but I don't know if it's your brain. I don't know what it is. But I said, what is this? And the answers was, this is how you felt growing up. And I was like, and that was just this watershed moment because how I dealt with my upbringing was I convinced myself I didn't care. Like that was my, if it was an old school sitcom and there was a catchphrase my character would have, it would be, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I fucking hate myself. Like those things, for one reason, it would always like, I think in the shower, or like things that happened to me would come out in the shower. And I think it was because I was standing still where I wasn't moving around and everything. And then, and I would just think about stuff. And then I would just be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck or whatever. And it turned out I did. So then it was this weird thing for like 10 days. I was who I would have been. It was so weird. I was like chill. I was happy. Nothing bothered me. And I was like, wow, this like cured me. And then after 10 days, like an anger that was even more than what I had before came back because all of that stuff still had happened to me. And then experiencing who I maybe could have been versus who I became and how many people I hurt, how much I hurt myself, the way I lived and all of that. So then it was this bigger anger. And then I just went into therapy and I just worked my way through it to where I am now.
Yeah. What's amazing is you tell that story in the special at Red Rocks. You told that story at Fenway, I believe. Like you're getting more personal at a time where you're playing the largest possible venues in like the history of stand-up. How is that? Is there part of you that can, like there's...
That's because of musicians.
That you can do it?
No, musicians, their need to get better and better sound. Because I remember seeing like the Rolling Stones at like Sullivan Stadium where the Patriots played and the sound wasn't good. And, they were like this big, you couldn't see them. But now they have it so dialed in that as much as you're doing these giant places, your pacing is still the same as doing like a comedy club. So it's way more impressive to watch it than to actually do it. It's not, because I remember when I did this tour for this radio show, the Opie and Anthony show, and I remember doing the Worcester Centrum, and I was so excited, like, oh my God, it was either the first or second, I think it was the first concert I ever went to. I saw Judas Priest with Dokken opening up, and I think I saw Dice Clay there. And so to be there on that stage was like, I can't believe, if you ever told young Billy Burr he would be there. And I remember, and this was mid-2000s, and that was when comics, when you played a place that big, it's like, dude, you got to slow down. And the sound would go out, it would slap off the wall, and then it would come back, and you'd hear what you just said. And it was like, you ever get like one of those bad cell phone calls where it does that? It was like that, while doing stand-up. So that has all gone away. Like they figured all of that out. And like when I did Royal Albert Hall, if you ever go to Royal Albert Hall, it was this prestigious thing to do. But I guess musicians used to complain because the sound would be bouncing all over everything. But now when you go in there, you look up, it looks like they have mushrooms hanging from the ceiling. They figured it out. The Forum is unbelievable. Madison Square Garden's unbelievable. Like the sound, what they've done with technology and video screens and everything is you can turn them into these like intimate settings. So you can actually take them on a ride, where before when you played those big places, you had to be big. It had to be like, it was, you had to be like Hulk Hogan, like playing to the last row of the Pontiac Silverdome, in this little fucking ring and in these big things, to try to play to the back row. You don't have to do that anymore. So, so getting back to your question, it's like, that's how you can bring people on those rides and those bigger places. And also there's, what I'm talking about is not alien to people. It's a lot of people have gone through a lot of the things that I've gone through. And even if you haven't, it's interesting to listen to.
Yeah. As I was thinking back, there's a video from 2003 you did The Moth, and you were talking about bringing a girlfriend home to see your father. And
I don't want to talk about that because you know what the thing about that thing was? I didn't want to.
That's actually not even. I'm not going to ask about that. Yeah. What I'm going to ask about is in the last few years, there have been more specials that are of a tone where it's just someone sitting and telling a story, and there are jokes, but.
Right.
And I'm curious if you'd ever do a thing like that as a person who's done a lot of different types of specials. I'm not going to ask you the questions about the thing.
Oh, do like
a Rothaniel or something like that, where it's you sitting and it's quieter.
Oh, that I mean, I guess I could do something like that. I'm not really feeling that coming out of me right now. So like how I navigate this business is I don't go at it from a what does that pay? I more look at it like, because like stand-up is how I make my money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And as long as I got enough, like I'm not like, going out getting, a fucking Jesus piece with my face on it and stuff. I'm not like one of those flashy guys. So like, which is good because I can kind of choose what I want to do. So I just look at it more like if I think it's going to be fun for me and something that someone's going to want to see. Like, doing Glengarry, right? It's really the perfect play. If you're a guy and you've never gone to Broadway and you were like me when you thought Broadway was Cats, like that's what I thought it was until my girlfriend at the time took me to go see this True West that had Philip Seymour Hoffman and John C. Reilly as Sam Shepard play. And I remember I saw that and I was like, whoa, like I didn't know it could be like this. This is powerful. This is amazing. This is the perfect play to go see because it's fast. It's only like an hour and 45 minutes, 40 minutes. There's no music. There's no nothing. It's a bunch of guys yelling at each other. It's a very relatable story now because I feel like back in the day, you would just it was a voyeuristic look into sales where now, I mean, if you work at Walmart or for Starbucks, you relate to this. Yeah. It's like, I relate to this. Yeah. It's like being underpaid, being asked to do way more. It's an impossible... this impossible squeeze that these guys are doing. But, we're going to get these illegals out of the country and that's going to stop. They're going to ease up and everyone's going to have benefits again. And it's going to be fantastic.
I'll say this. I went to a matinee. And again, we're talking late in the run. I went to a matinee recently, which is a Wednesday matinee is not everyone's favorite show to do. And at the end of the show, you come out and you look so happy. You look so genuinely happy.
Because we probably did something. Because on the matinees, we do stuff. Well, first of all, like I always joke, I always go, Glengarry's strongest matinees on Broadway, because you got to do something, because you have to respect it. Like somebody, maybe their flight, they have to see the matinee, or maybe they wanted to go at night and they couldn't. But you can't do the Catholic priest thing where I'm going to yell at you because only 10 people showed up. You're going to yell at the 10 people. No, you got to go out there and kill them. But we've been doing it long enough, and one of the things that we do is there's little games that we're playing with each other. There's a word you have to say. Like I played my character as closeted in the second act one time just to make him, but I did it upstage. It was mannerisms, and I did it upstage so the crowd couldn't see it, try to make the other actors laugh as I was doing this really, alpha male dialogue, and then maybe just kind of have my hand like that or doing one of these or whatever, where I used to do it like that. So Kieran's hard to get. You can't, he's very hard to make laugh. What makes him laugh is if you're actually doing it, you're not trying to be funny. And there's a choice I did as something that I was doing. And he just thought it was hilarious because he could see because his character's really winding me up. And there was like when somebody, you piss somebody off and they get calm and you're like, oh shit, I think I did that one show. I don't exactly remember what it was, but he said, you haven't been noticing? He goes, I've been laughing for like the last 3 days when you've been doing that. And I was like, no, I didn't, because he's, I don't know how he can kind of keep it in here when he's laughing, but like anytime I've tried to make him laugh, I haven't had the ability to do it.
I remember Chris Rock always said that every stand-up should do a run on Broadway or do plays. Have you learned anything that would be applied to your stand-up from doing the same material every day, but then also being able to change it, getting laughs, a different type of laugh from the audience, a different experience with the audience?
No, I more taking things that all the stuff that I learned as a comedian and crowds, I've applied to the acting thing, which I never got to do in front of a crowd. I was always like a TV show or a bit part in a movie or something, where it was just the crew. And that's the tough adjustment for a comedian is like silence is good. The take ends, the director doesn't come up to you. That's good. That means it was a good take. And, as a comedian, you used to like feedback. So in the beginning when I was green, I would always go, is that all right? Like, yeah, it's fine. And then like you start to like annoy the guy. And then I realized like, all right, I need to like sort of chill out. How I do movies is I just like in between takes, like I shoot the shit with the crew. I just keep like, I have to keep a vibe going. I can't be like, and that's what killed my father. And cut, and then just go over and just stand back at one. I can't do that. I have to I gotta be like, keep talking.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And because I feel like it all just tightens back up again. Like everybody has like a different thing that I do. I'm definitely one of those shooting the shit, and action, and then in.
One other thing that it feels like influenced this special and a change of perspective is you've lost people close to you. Obviously, the name Drop Dead Years is a direct relationship to the idea that people in your life or yourself can die at any moment.
Yep.
And specifically, I wanted to ask you about Bob Saget, since seemingly you were close and his death was something that hit you quite hard. And I was wondering if you had a story that captures what he meant to you and what losing him meant to you.
Oh, God. Well, first of all, like, I don't know that I've even accepted it yet, still. See? Yeah, I mean, that's just always going to be sad. So, try to talk about it.
I appreciate it.
What I did like about it is he would like when he was texting with you and you would be making jokes. Yeah, that's probably what I missed, because he would do it for hours and he just couldn't get enough of it. And he rooted for younger comics. Yeah, that was a fucked up day. Somebody told me one time, he said, the first 40 years of your life, this is really fucked up. He said, you're gathering people and the last 40 is losing. And that's like one of the truest things ever. So, but how you beat that, I feel like, is your purpose as an older person. Oh, man. Yeah, it's to help out younger people. Or else you don't really have a purpose and you're just lonely.
Mm. Did you feel...
So, yeah, that's the Bob Saget.
Yeah. Did you feel like he helped out you when you were a younger comedian?
Yeah, his like one of the most like effortless, like complimenting you. Yeah, the last night I worked with them, I remember I was doing this fucking gig, and just one of those gigs, they just didn't protect you. And there wasn't any barrier between you and all of these crazy drunk fans. And I was just accepting it and doing all this stuff. And I was going through some shit and I wanted to be alone. And I talked to him about the next day. And it's one of the few times I ever heard anger in his voice, where he was like, no, fuck that. You tell them if you need something, you fucking say, you don't have to fucking do that. Da, 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 da. And I felt like the way he was saying it with the passion was something that he had gone through.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, he looked out for you.
I appreciate you telling me that story.
All right, now what do you want to talk about?
So, you appeared at the Conan O'Brien Mark Twain Prize.
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like?
Terrifying.
In what way?
I've shied away from doing those things because I think I find that, like, you know, a lot of the ball busting I do is like staying in like a protective place. So then if I actually have to go and say something nice about somebody, I get uncomfortable or I get emotional or something. And, but I knew that it was something that I was going to be continued to be asked to do. I had to do it yesterday.
Mm.
And I jumped at the opportunity when they asked me because, you know, I need to get better at it. So it was it was funny. I was sitting on the I have like this little walk-up building that I'm in, and they got this rooftop thing, and I just sat up there and I wrote all of this stuff that I felt about Conan, and it was making me emotional. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get through this? No, because I love the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I realized is that you can say a couple of nice things and then throw a joke in there, and then that keeps it at bay.
Mm.
So that's kind of what I learned doing that. And I will tell you, though, had I known John Mulaney was going to open and kill that hard, I would have turned down the gig. Because he is unbelievable in general, but how good he is at those things.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting next to Sarah Silverman, and she had to go on tour. I'm like, what the fuck? They didn't fucking need us. I didn't need to be here. You know, I started like freaking out. I was like, I can't follow this fucking shit. And then Will Ferrell went on. Like, it was just like the 27 Yankees of comedy. And I'm like, and I'm that guy you don't remember from the team. I'm like going like, what the fuck am I, what am I doing here? And, you know, I was coming out with sort of a new joke. The joke, I was walking around Georgetown, that joke I did where it feels like slavery, it's like weed. It's like slavery is still legal at like a state level, but not a federal level. And I don't know if that joke made it, but I was like, I don't know how that's going to go over. Because DC is notoriously a conservative, like when I would do the DC improv, it would take so long to break them open because I I think everybody in there was in the business, and a lot of people had gotten in trouble for talking too loud at a lunch. So it was sort of like the feeling that feel like young people have, having grown up with cameras and shit in their face and people getting canceled, that in a lot of ways they act like 40 years older than they are a lot of times. And so they had that vibe. So I wasn't sure how that was going to go. And it's one of my favorite things that I ever did because I was so afraid to do it, and it went well. And interestingly enough, he came out to the show, Glengarry, and I always make sure I don't know who's going to be, because I don't want to be thinking about them. I want to be locked in with Michael McKean, who is like one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with. He's the greatest listener I've ever worked with. He's like his listening skills and how generous he is and how much he elevates that's all he does is elevate what you're doing. Like, he gets it. Like, I've been in scenes where somebody tries to outact you, and it's like, dude, you're like it's like we're trying to save each other from drowning by pushing each other down if you do that. And we're both going to look like assholes. He gets it, that it's the other way. So anyway, Conan came out last night, and fortunately we all had a great show, and him and his wife were the best, and they had a great time. They're all complimentary. And he mentioned, he goes, I gotta pay you back, for doing the Mark Twain thing. And I was, and I immediately just went into my journal. Oh no, I'm gonna hang that over your head, buddy. I'm never gonna let you forget that. But like, yeah, Conan's like, like Bob or like Patrice or any of these people that I've met in my life, where like my favorite thing is somebody that's super smart and is also really silly. Like, Conan is one of the silliest people you're ever going to meet, and one of the smartest people. And it's like, there's just something, just silliness is so fun and disarming.
Yeah.
And it's something that, I don't know, I try to do to balance out my demons. It's just being an idiot,
When Conan said that, or even at the show, was there a moment where you thought you could win the Mark Twain Prize at some point? Is it something, now that I bring it up now, what do you think about the idea that at some point you're getting it?
I'm not one of those guys.
Which guys?
A list guy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not that.
I know what you mean, but I don't, you're not as far away from those lists as I think.
Just don't do this.
Okay,
because I don't want any of that stuff.
Well,
I really don't. Do you know what I really want?
Yeah.
Is when I walk down the street, when people from all different walks of life go, hey man, I appreciate what you're doing. Oh, I liked your special, blah, blah. I like, I like sitting in the crowd, like when I go to a sporting event. Which what I fucking hate about these screens is there was always a class clown in every section making everybody laugh, and these fucking screens and these, DJs, first down and all this. It's taken the crowd out of the game. And I've always preferred, I want to get good seats, but I don't want to be, the closer you sit, the quieter it gets. It's the most fucked up thing. The less fun it is. Unless it's like an NBA game where before they had a DJ play the whole time. I remember I saw the Lakers play the Knicks, and Comedy Central had courtside seats. And I sat there and you could hear the shit that they were talking to each other. That was fucking amazing. But everything else, the closer you get, the more money people have, the more less fun it gets. So I was always like a mezzanine level. Like, I don't want to be like up there with binoculars and like super fucking shit-faced people. But like, I felt like the alcohol intake, the view, everything was like mid.
Yeah.
I like the mid, whatever the second color row seats are. That's what I like. And I can't imagine sitting some fucking place and listening to 10 of your friends, making them fly across the country to say nice shit about me. Are you really a friend at that point? Why would I do that to you?
I don't know. Maybe that's the next thing you have to grow to is accept the Mark Twain. If you win the Mark Twain Prize,
I'm playing the Beacon and a bunch of people is showing out. That's That's good.
That's
good. No, I'm still inherently a shy person, believe it or not. I like, I like to get on a mic, say what I have to say, but then when the show's over, I'm cool to just be a wallflower and, slide back into the Homer Simpson, back into the shrubs.
That's fair.
And observe.
So now it's time for the final segment of the show. It's called the Laughing Round. It's like a lightning round, but because this is a comedy podcast, I call it the Laughing Round. These are shorter, easier questions. Do you have a favorite joke? Like a street joke?
The most recent one that I saw was I loved it. I just talked about it on this podcast before this, doing a press tour here. But like, I loved the simplicity, the efficiency of it, and the fact that they didn't even say the name. And like, so many T-shirts aren't funny. This guy was walking down the street, and he had a T-shirt on. It just said, "Is he dead yet?" And I just bursted out laughing. I bursted out laughing that the fact that they didn't even say who he was talking about. I knew he was talking about the hopelessness. Like the hopelessness of like, and it took me back to being a kid, and you were all under like the rule of whatever crazy adult and whatever they had drank or smoked that day, and you're just in this station wagon of like, is it over yet? Can I go to my Legos now? Mm-hmm. Can I just go outside and go climb a tree and fucking sit there and stare off into space and weird out a couple of squirrels? Like what the like it was just so. It was the perfect expression of hopelessness with humor. I just thought it was so. Whether you agree with it or not, it's funny. Mm-hmm. It's fucking funny. And these last two guys. Joe Biden and Donald Trump, it is just endless hopelessness. The two of them, it's just so fucking hopeless. And you're just thinking like, how did we end up here? How are those the two choices back to back? That's all we got?
Back to back.
Well, no, Hillary was the other one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, choices.
Yeah, like how is this is all we got? Like, remember Obama, McCain? Those were serious, like a war hero, POW survivor. They could give like a speech. Yeah. They were educated. They had their faculties. Whether you liked who won or whatever, they were like smart.
Yeah. Is there a joke you wish you could steal? A joke from another comedian that you wish you could have told?
That's endless. That's everything Dave Attell has even thought of. Mm-hmm. I'm nervous to quote the jokes because I don't know if somebody has documented them yet, and I don't want to burn their material. But like, area. Oh my god, I would. Yeah, I mean. Dave Attell isn't like you know what's funny, because I'm a storyteller. What I love is the joke writers. Dave Attell, Todd Barry, Mark Norman, and then like younger kids. This is this kid Robert Powell III. I'm trying to put together this thing to do a special with him. He did the Patrice benefit not this year, the year before. Just an incredible comedian. And then there's other people that are like performers. Like the first time I saw Fortune Feimster, I saw her at the OR at the Comedy Store, and she just like blew me away when she was talking about this childhood friend that she had a crush on, and she didn't realize, that maybe it was more than a crush, and just the way she did the joke, and it was like the punchline. When she screamed, because she's my best friend, it was like Chris Farley level power. And I was just like, because I'm still a huge, huge fan of stand-up. Yeah. And as an old guy now, I get so excited when I see somebody young and I know they're going to be great. And you're like, it's going to be all right. Like this generation still likes jokes. Like, it's so funny. Like, because I feel like now that the economy is bad and like, ticket sales are, it's hard. People are hurting out there. And I feel like the industry will be like, people don't like stand-up comedy anymore. Like, that's how they look because they're so, like, reptilian.
Yeah.
And it's just like, people don't like to laugh anymore.
You're going to take a break from laughing.
Yeah, like, you don't think it might be inflation?
Yeah.
And that there's these fucking nerd billionaires out there saying, I want my employees to come to work terrified, go to bed terrified, wake up terrified. I mean, you don't think it's that, Then they're terrified to go out and spend any fucking money. But let's blame the clowns.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a short story of an interaction with a legendary comedian, living or dead, you're willing to share?
Oh. All right, I got a Bill Cosby. So this is right before all this shit hit the fan. So I was doing the Garden of Dreams at the theater at Madison Square Garden, which is a legendary place. Eddie Murphy did the Raw special there. The whole East Coast, West Coast, that crazy shit happened there with Snoop. East Coast don't got no love. Death Row, that happened there. So you're going out on that stage. So anyway, he was like closing. And I was waiting to go on. And somebody there said, hey, he wants to meet you. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. This is Bill Cosby, right? So I go in the back to meet him, and his vibe is crazy. He's silly and everything, and I'm sitting down, and he's talking to me, and he's making me laugh, and I'm like floating. Like it's like, when he started, you're going back to he saw like Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just like, it would be like a musician hanging out with someone from Led Zeppelin or whatever band they're into, right? So he starts telling me how he just taped his latest stand-up special. And in his stand-up special, he's learned the secret to having it look good and having a great stand-up special. And he goes, I learned the secret. I can't do an impression of him. And then he's saying to his handler, going like, should I tell him? I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. Should I do this? Well, I just met this man. Am I going to tell him? He's giving me the show.
Yeah.
And right as he's about ready to do it, this guy opens the door and said, Mr. Cosby, it's your time. And he goes, oh, yes, sir. And he got up and walked out. And to this day, I'm going like, did they plan that? Was he trolling me the whole time? Was he fucking with me? Because the timing of it was perfect.
Yeah.
And that's my Bill.
That's your story.
He was this close to telling me how to do a perfect stand-up special, and then he was interrupted and he walked out, and I was like, there should have been a camera on my face of like the disappointment with the combined euphoria that I met him and he knew who I was before all that other stuff came out.
So we're gonna do a Mount Rushmore, so 4 Mount Rushmores. So 4, if you're open to it.
Okay.
So
I'm not good at this, but go ahead.
We'll see how it goes. If we can punt this, we'll just cut out this. But we'll see how it goes. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of comedians?
If it's only 4, no, but I can. It's definitely Pryor. It's definitely Carlin. And then after that, and Joan Rivers. All of them because of their unbelievable body of work, and they never dipped. Mm-hmm. I saw Joan Rivers in the 2000s, and my jaw was on the ground what she was saying. That was back then when you just... I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then I would say, for whatever, there's a part of Sam Kinison's career. There's this clip of him when he's just sort of wearing a members only jacket and he has like fingerless gloves and he's just up there and all he's doing is screaming and it's grating. And I remember my wife was in the room going, oh my God, who the fuck is that? Blah, blah, blah. I go, no, I'm listening. She goes, how can you listen to that? I go, because he hasn't harnessed his power yet. All he knows is how to unleash it. Mm-hmm. And when you go from that to the special that he did at the Roxy, where he learned how to bring it down and slow it down before and the power that it added. There was something about that learning curve of it and the way like his mind worked and everything that I got like a lot out of that. But to put him on, it's so I mean, 4. I mean, there's like, I heard Lenny Bruce, if you listen to him at Carnegie Hall, like the first 10 minutes is a little dated, and then he just starts talking about people, and it sounds like this would work today. Woody Allen Comedians, another one. That one. I love Cheech and Chong. The silliness of that. Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy. Dice. I mean, I love them. Lily Tomlin had this one person play that she did, and somehow she was doing this thing, shooting pool, and they were making the sound effects, and I just thought she was hysterical. All those Comedy Store comics, like Sandra Bernhard, Paul Mooney. There's just all of them, and then all the way through to like the guys that came out of the 80s and like into like, you know, Dave Attell, Dave Chappelle, all the Daves, Brian Regan. It's like I can't do it.
Yeah.
I
so
can't.
It's 3 and then one constantly rotating third head.
Yeah, no, it's just all of those. And then the guys that I came up, Patrice. I mean, oh God, I mean that one. Like I still to this day think about, God, what would he be saying about this? What would he be saying about that? And like the fact that he would be like 15 years better than he already was, and he was already like so advanced.
And he felt old. He was like around 40 when he died, I feel like. If that, and like
he was
seemed
almost 42, I believe.
Yeah. So it's like he seemed like he'd already was like
he was just shy of being 42. December 7th was his birthday, and he died on I think the 30th or something like that. It was really close. Sucks.
Mount Rushmore of drummers.
Oof. Okay. Tony Williams, Elvin Jones, John Bonham, and then everything else is open. Everyone from Steve Jordan, Vinnie Colaiuta, all the James Brown drummers, Clyde Stubblefield, and then like Alex Van Halen, Vinnie Paul, Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl. You want to hear something fucking amazing? Dave Grohl, he did on a Killing Joke, Death and Resurrection show, is one of the sickest drum grooves I've ever fucking heard in my life. And I got to talk to him about it one time. I was at something and he was at it. And, you know, he just, he's fucking cool as shit. And just, I know I'm forgetting other people. John Theodore, all of his work from Mars Volta, One Day as a Lion, the stuff that he's doing now with Queens. I think they're coming to the show tonight. Like, what I love about his drumming is he has all the influences, but he has his own voice. And it's not like this, I know who you listen to. What was that? What's that fucking song? I was listening to it yesterday. It was something that he played with Mars Volta. And like just completely disintegrated the whole snare on 2 and 4. How does that? So the songs, half of them are in Spanish, so I don't know how to say them. But the guitar riff is just like da na 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 na, yeah, da na na da na, something like that. And he, instead of him just playing like a double bass, something like that, he played just like single kick. It was just like boom 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 that boom boom that. This fucking insane with all of these ghost notes and fucking intricate shit with the high. And I just remember hearing that, and it's just one of those things like you're like a dog. Your head just goes like, what is that? And then these fucking kids on like, you know, Instagram now, all those young black drummers that started in the church, like they're the perfect melding of everything. They like usually there's the chops guy and the groove guy, they're all of it. Yeah,
kids who have access to all.
They can play for the fucking song, or if you want them to go Keith Moon in further outer space than Keith Moon, like Oh, fuck. There's another guy I was just thinking of. I forget his name. Getting old. I forget the names. You know the guy who sings Dreamweaver? He just passed away. Like, listen to that album. Listen to the Adam Nussbaum or somebody played it. The drums. Like, I love the 70s sounds drums. They're really dry. And I hate the 80s sound. So funny because I came up in the 80s and that whatever the fuck they did compressed it and then the reverb and it, which I heard was an accident in a studio. I think Peter Gabriel accidentally stumbled. Some mic was on. My drum teacher, Dave Elich, was telling me about this. Said there was a mic on or something, was an accident. And they're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing.
And changed literally how drums sounded for forever.
Yeah. Oh, dude, ZZ Top, Frank Beard, Chris Layton, all those Texas guys. I love all of those guys. There's too many. There's too.
I know. I thought these would be shorter. Matt.
Oh my God, Steven Adler. Oh my God, how did I forget him? Steven Adler was huge for me. Huge educational drummer because everybody had these giant fucking kits. You would go to see a band and they're playing like AC/DC 4/4 and the guy would have a double bass drum kit, you know, 3 or 4 up, 2 down, a fucking, you know, gong back there. It was like, you know, big hair, big drum kits. Dude, there was some guys, they only had the second pedal for when they took a solo. And they would just be playing quads going around, you know, and we didn't know anything. It's like, that guy's playing the same lick. He's just voicing it all around the kit. And we think he's going fucking nuts. And it was really just like 3 different, you know, I don't know. But I would say like I think that the greatest of all time is Tony Williams.
Yeah.
Because he has like, he just had it all. He had the power, you know, he had all, I mean, oh my God, you want to hear a Tony Williams 4 and More taped at Lincoln Center, and he is playing like he was doing shit. They had to like they didn't have names for what he was doing yet. I think they turned it metric modulation and like, and he's got this the most beautiful sounding dry ride, 1,000,000 miles an hour. How the stick didn't catch on fire is unbelievable. And the story I heard, which I don't know if it's true or not, was right before they went out on stage, Miles told them, you know, by the way, this is a benefit, so none of you guys are getting paid. So they were upset. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's one of the most, you know, people talk about speed metal and shit like that. Tomas Hockey from fucking Meshuggah's another guy. People talk about that fucking music. It's like, you want to hear fucking speed metal before speed metal? Listen to Tony Williams on 4 and More. But nowadays it's like there's so much information out there on how to do that. Yeah. He figured out how to do it. And everybody like fucking hurt their wrists and everything. And like,
I have one other drum question before the other thing, but I realize I want to be respectful of your time. Do you have to, I don't know what.
I have something at 3, right? What time is it? I should get out of here, though. I should get out of here.
I won't ask this drum follow-up because I'm sure your publicist is like,
no.
I thought these are fast. All right. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of actors?
Oh. Mount Rushmore of actors. I wish I was prepared for these because I don't want to do like the ones that the ones everybody knows.
It could be just people. I mean, like, yeah, it's like, sure.
Okay, I forget the guy's name. His name's Richard something. He's in this movie with Al Pacino and Gene Hackman that most people don't watch. It's called Scarecrow. Mm-hmm. He's also in this movie called 7 Up, where he plays the bad guy, and the choices he makes. He kind of was like Richard Pryor, as far as like he had a drug problem. He lit himself on fire. If you look at his face, it looks sort of like shiny, and it's like the skin grafts. And he does something in this movie called The 7 Ups, which, like, I get into people that do like these little character choices. So there's 2 things that he does. Yes, Richard Lynch. Okay, just to give somebody some love that doesn't get it. Passed away, unfortunately. So in that movie, The 7 Ups, the guy who does the car chase scene is also the guy who did the famous one in Bullet. So if you watch Bullet, Steve McQueen is chasing these guys, and the 2 guys in the car are like the bad guys are stoic. And they sort of play like they don't care whether they live or die, which was cool at the time. So now they're recreating that. He's sort of doing this again, the same stunt guy. So Richard Lynch is in the passenger seat. He's the bad guy. He plays scared. And it adds so much to the scene because rather than just sitting there as they're cruising, flying like that, he's like, I got to do it to you. So he's kind of like going, like he's got his hand on the dash. He's kind of looking at the guy like, dude, what the fuck? You know? And it adds to the danger of it that these guys actually care about their own mortality. And then the powerless position that he's in. Because the other guy's scared, he doesn't want to go to jail, but at least he's at the controls. Sitting there in the fucking passenger seat and not putting your fucking foot up as you're driving through a bunch of kids playing in the street is not even human. He played the human side of it. There's another choice that he makes when he's running from Roy Scheider. He's going through the train yard and there's this giant puddle and he goes right through it. Now, as an actor, I'm thinking like, oh my God, he did that every take. His fucking feet are all wet. That must have sucked. But if you're running for your freedom, that's what you would do. And then Scheider comes in after him. He goes around the puddle, which is what a cop would do. Like, I'm going to get this guy and give him jail. I'm not getting my fucking feet wet unless I can see him. But this guy, it's just like, he's running for his freedom. He doesn't give a fuck what's in the way. And just little things like that. Oh my God, John Turturro into Live and Die in L.A. He has this scene where when he figures out he's been ratted out, and I remember like I was watching it, and he like went back on the couch. I forget what the line is. He's figuring out. He goes, I bet that's the motherfucker. And he was so intense. That movie is unbelievable, and it's really hard to find, but. I think recently they just re-released it or whatever. But like, I just remember seeing that. Or like, I love Sean Penn in Carlito's Way with the balding perm and like just where that character went. And I just love that line, Pacino, lawyer. You ain't a lawyer, Kleinfeld. You a gangster. When the cop comes in, he tells him he knows everything that he's doing, but he's a lawyer and he knows he doesn't have anything, and he just sort of sits there and he just goes, dum dum dum. Telly Savalas in fucking in The Dirty Dozen. His crazy guy laugh when they're going like, Franco goes in where the others have been. And then they're doing like, Lee Marvin's point to all the things that they're going to do, and it all rhymes. And in the end it goes, and then we all come out like it's Halloween. And he goes, and we all come out like it's Halloween. He does this high-pitched, crazy laugh, foreshadowing that he's going to fuck up this whole job when they get in there.
That's four.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Long-winded.
Right. Boston athletes. And then we're
Boston athletes, I'll go through it quick. Jay Miller, Stan Jonathan, Rick Middleton, Terry O'Reilly. No, Cam Neely.
All right. This will be the last one. We'll see. What's the best time you ever bombed?
How? Awful or fun?
Best. Whatever. It could be best because it was so awful. It could be fun because it was the best.
I was doing a nooner at a college, and they had no idea there was going to be a show, and I went up, and I was being so aggressive because I was like, I'm going to get you before you get me. It was broad daylight. And I sounded like I was coked up at 3 a.m. And these 4 kids were just looking up, trying to eat their grilled cheese sandwiches and all that. All right. And I just remember I was like, I don't even think I was 12 minutes into the set. And this woman came up sheepishly and she handed me a note. And she goes, can you wrap it up in 5? I was supposed to do an hour. And I looked at her and I was going, am I still going to get paid? Because I'm contracted. She goes, oh, yeah. So then I felt bad. And then I just sort of wrapped it up. And then I sheepishly got off stage. And I go, she goes, I was like, sorry, was that like, she goes, yeah, no, it's all right. Like, I don't think that it just wasn't like the right thing. Sorry. And she was apologizing. And then I felt horrible. Because I went up there going, these fucking people, they didn't promote the fucking goddamn show and blah, blah. And I just fucking went up there and I was just chopping heads off of all of these innocent people. And they thought I was going to get up there and be like, we're back to school. Oh, isn't this crazy? Isn't this whack? And I thought, I left there And I felt so bad because they didn't yell at me. Because I've been pulled off stage at so many fucking colleges. And I remember one time I did this one, and it was some Catholic school, and they said, don't curse. And I was so fucked up that I thought goddamn and Jesus Christ wasn't cursing. I thought curse was saying the F word and all of that. So I was like, hey, this guy comes in the goddamn thing, for Christ's sake, whatever. And this woman was talking the whole time. The one who booked me is talking the whole time. So I get off stage, and she's just all like, man, they say to wear clean. You go to a Catholic school and you say GD and JC. And I went right back at her. I go, really? I go, you book a comedian, you talk the entire time he's on stage. And we got in this big back and forth. That's when I was like, a young, angry man. And I can't remember most of those. I cannot remember most of those shows. I remember one time I was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And rather than flying into like Milwaukee, I flew into Detroit, and I didn't realize I had to go up and all the way over Wisconsin. So it was an 8-hour drive, and I drove like a lunatic. And I remember I got on stage and I was doing this impression of Deion Sanders, and it was one of the hardest I've ever killed, and I've never been able to do it again. It was something that was that period where I was like, I want to come back, see, I got that dog still in me. And I can't remember. Yeah, it was, I think I saw every varmint this country has on my way up there. Just things ran in front of my car. I didn't even know what they were. I actually pulled over and tried to get retroactive insurance in Nationals. Like, what did you hit out there? I'm like, nothing, but I've seen every fur trapper thing that's run out in front of my car. I'm afraid they're going to hit the car. So there you go. That's what I got.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for having me.